Hi, welcome back. Okay, so today we are starting our crocheting. So hopefully you were able to find a hook at your local store and some yarn that you liked. You got a light color yarn, hopefully. If not, we'll just take it step by step either way. So grab your hook, get your yarn, and we're going to get started. Okay, so here's my hook. I have a size USK or 10.5 or 6.5 millimeter. And then my average size yarn to go along with it. I'm starting off with a short end. Unlike knitting, I don't need to have a long tail when I'm casting on. I just need to have the yarn in the correct position. So I'm starting off with the working yarn. This is the part that's coming from the skein. And here is the non-working yarn in the back. It's about 4 inches. I'm going to wrap it around, hold it together between my thumb and my index, wrapping the working yarn around the hook. The face is facing me. I'm going to pull it while holding the yarn in the opposite hand and loop it through. I'm going to wrap it around, hold it between my thumb and index on the opposite finger. I'm using my index on my right hand or my dominant hand to keep it in place, and my thumb is just holding it in a comfortable position. As I pull it through, I slightly rotate it, and then I bring it back so it's facing forward again. I wrap the yarn around again, pull and rotate slightly. I'm guiding it through with my right hand. I'm not going to use my left hand for anything other than holding the yarn in place so that it stays in a nice straight line. I pull it through, rotate slightly, then turn it around so it's facing out. This is what I have so far. I have my slip knot here, and then I have 1, 2, 3. This one would count as 4 once it comes off of the hook. Wrap it around, hold my chain. There's 4. Guide it back in place. Wrap it around, hold it with the index finger and the thumb. Doing the same thing on the opposite side. I'm holding it with the index finger and the thumb, and I pull the hook through, wrap it around, pull it through slowly, wrap it around, pull it through. Let's make one that's too big and see how we adjust that. Now I've made one that's too big. So all I'm going to do is switch hands. So I'm holding my chain, and I just pull it through a little bit, the working yarn, till it's around the same size as the other loops. Here are my loops so far. I have my right side where it kind of looks like hearts or V's, and then on the wrong side or the opposite side are the little bumps, the little ridges that go along it. These are the top part that I'll be working in as I come back for my single crochet, and this is the bottom stitches down here, the bottom parts of my loops. So I get it back in position with the face of the hook facing me, wrap it around, pull it through, adjust it, because I was still doing big ones. Now let's get it back to a regular size. Wrap it around, guide it, hold it in place, pull with a slight rotation, wrap it around, pull with a slight rotation. Let's go to, what do we have so far? Let's count it out. So we ignore the first one. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's do one more. Make it an even 14. Loosen it up a little bit. Pull with a slight rotation. Now I have 14 stitches, not counting the one that is on the hook itself. To go back, I'm going to chain one more time. just make a chain. I'm going to ignore that, but that is just to keep me from making it into a triangle unless that's what I was going for. Now I'm going to go in from front to back, picking up the second one from the hook. All right, I'm picking up the second stitch from the hook. Here's one, and here's two. Go in, pick it up. Now I'm going to pull through both of these. So I'm holding both of them with my thumb and my index of my left hand, my non-dominant side. And there's my first single chain crochet. I go into the next stitch, the top part once again, and I wrap it around and I pull through both. I would keep doing that the whole time. I'm giving a little help, just pulling it through, hold it in place, rotate, straighten it out. This is what it's looking like so far. And I'm going to continue doing that all the way down the chain till I get to the last stitch. So I stick it through, I pull it, nice and easy, holding it in place. That one was a little tight. Not bad. Now I have another row that's starting. I have my foundational row, which is the first one we did, the chains. Just plain old-fashioned single chains. The yarn split a little bit, so if it ever does that to you, just back out and make sure that you put it back to where it needs to be, and then continue on. So I don't have that split yarn. Going on to the next one, I have a couple more left. Pull it through, stick it in, wrap it around, hold it steady, pull with that slight rotation. Don't let it split that yarn. Okay. And I have one more left. Tiny one at the beginning, right before my slip knot. There's my slip knot, and here's my first stitch. Once I'm done, this is what I have. I will do the same thing that I did before, because if I start with just this hook, with just this stitch, I stand corrected. If I start with just this stitch on the hook, then it's going to start to go at an angle, and that's not what I want to do. So I must do one single crochet, just a regular chain, then I rotate it. Here it was. I'm going to rotate it to the opposite side. I still have one loop on my hook. Now I'm looking at the wrong side of everything, okay? This is now the right side, and this is the wrong side. You can see the ridges along the back. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm ignoring the one that is closest to the hook, and I skip that and I go to the next one. Wrap it around, pull through both. Still going from the front to the back. The first couple of rows are always a little bit of a challenge to control, just until it gets a little bit more weight. When it gets a little bit more weight to it, then it can hold itself down a little bit more. But until then, you still need to guide it carefully. And I can always tell if I've done something too tight. What we were talking about last time, if you do it too tight, then I have to work through it. I'm not going to hurt the yarn because it's not super tight. It was just a little bit tight. And I'm starting from the front to the back. That was a good one. That wasn't too tight. Until I get to the end once again. So once I get to the end of this row and I'm at this last stitch, I need to chain 1 going vertically before I flip it around and start working my way back. And I just do that each time. As I continue, it'll keep its shape. It'll keep that square shape because you need to chain 1 with a single crochet chain. When you're doing a single crochet stitch, you need to chain 1 to keep it in that nice rectangle or square shape. So that is the first steps. I suggest going back and pulling everything out and start the video over with the beginning steps of wrapping it around, making your first loop, your slip knot, so that you're ready to go, and then continue with making your chains. You can do maybe 15 to 20 is a good amount. It gives you a little bit to work with back and forth and see if you can make yourself a little square. Then for the next video, we will go over more of that. But pull it all out, start it over, practice it again until you get comfortable with how you hold your hook, how you pull it through, and how you keep it nice and steady. All right, so there we go. Our first crochet lesson is under your belt. Good job. And I would suggest that you continue practicing with your hook, casting it on, pulling it apart, getting used to it, making sure that your stitches are loose enough when you're working with it. Go on for about 4 inches. And remember, if it starts to taper off and you see it start to become a triangle, you're not adding on that extra stitch at the end of your row. Make sure you add on the extra stitch before you go the opposite direction. Just 1 single chain and then head back the opposite direction. Thank you again for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, this is your chance to do it. See you next time and we will continue our crocheting adventure together. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching. Bye.